Every myth carries a shadow of truth, every story a fragment of reality. Across the world, cultures have whispered of monsters, spirits, and beasts that defy belief. But again and again, science uncovers the strange creatures and bizarre events that gave birth to those legends. Tonight, we uncover 7 more mythical beings that were not pure fantasy, but echoes of a world more mysterious than we imagined. The vampire. From the castles of Transylvania to the back alleys of Europe, vampires were feared as blood-drinking creatures of the night. But behind the fangs and capes lies a very real history. In medieval times, outbreaks of plague left corpses in strange states of decay. Bodies exhumed sometimes had bloated stomachs and blood at the mouth, leading villagers to believe they had risen from the grave to feast on the living. In truth, these were normal decomposition processes. Add to this real diseases like porphyria, which makes skin sensitive to sunlight, and rabies, which causes aggression and biting, and you have a recipe for the vampire myth. Even bats that drink blood. The common vampire bat of South America gave the legend biological credibility. What began as a mix of medical mystery and folklore grew into one of the most enduring monsters in history. The phoenix, a bird that rises from its own ashes. Immortal and fiery, the phoenix is a symbol of rebirth across many cultures. But where did the legend come from? Historians suggest the phoenix may have been inspired by sightings of the Egyptian Binu bird, possibly based on the heron. These birds nested in the Nile and were linked to the sun god Ra, symbolizing cycles of life and death. Others connect the myth to real firebirds like the flamingo, whose brilliant plumage seemed almost aflame in the desert sun. Even stranger, in certain volcanic regions, birds like swallows and swifts were seen darting in and out of ash plumes, appearing to rise from fire and smoke. The phoenix may not exist as a literal creature, but its roots and natural cycles, molting, migration, and rebirth, gave ancient people the perfect metaphor: a creature that dies in flames, only to return brighter than before. The Naga. In Hindu and Buddhist traditions, Nagas are serpent beings, half human, half snake, guardians of rivers, treasures, and even the underworld. But could this terrifying hybrid have real-world origins? The myth may stem from encounters with massive king cobras in India and Southeast Asia, snakes that can reach over 18 feet long. Their hooded heads, upright posture, and venomous bite made them seem almost supernatural. Fossil discoveries may also have fueled the legend. Ancient remains of giant snakes like Titanoboa, a serpent over 40 feet long, have been found in South America. If similar fossils were uncovered in Asia, it would be easy to imagine them as evidence of godlike snake beings. The Naga is also a cautionary tale. Rivers, where cobras often live, are both life-giving and deadly. Myths of divine serpent guardians reminded people to respect the waters and the creatures lurking within them. The Harpy. In Greek mythology, Harpies were winged women, part bird, part human, who snatched people away and carried them into the fended underworld. Terrifying, shrieking, and relentless, they embodied storms and sudden death. Some historians believe harpy tales originated from sightings of birds of prey. Raptors like eagles and hawks, with their hooked beaks and piercing screams, could easily be imagined as women with wings. Even vultures, which circle over the dead, played into the imagery of death and decay. But the legend may also be rooted in natural disasters. Ancient sailors caught in violent storms at sea described the winds as screaming, clawing, almost alive. To give the storm a face, they created the harpy, a monstrous spirit of the wind itself. And so, a deadly storm became not just weather, but a winged predator that hunted men. The Tikbalang. In Philippine folklore, the Tikbalang is a half-horse, half-human trickster that lurks in forests, leading travelers astray. With long limbs and glowing eyes, it's both feared and mischievous. Myth may have arisen from encounters with monkeys in the Philippines, which stand tall, walk upright, and appear unsettlingly human in the darkness. Combined with the presence of horses introduced by Spanish colonizers, the imagery fused into a creature that was part beast, part man. Others believe the Tikbalang was a symbolic warning. Forests are treacherous, filled with hidden dangers, and travelers who wander without caution risk becoming lost. Blaming the Tikbalang was easier than admitting one's own mistakes. While no half-horse creature stalks the forests, the legend endures as a reminder of the mystery and danger hidden in the wild. The Manticore Persian legends tell of the Manticore, a beast with the body of a lion, the face of a man, and a venomous tail that could shoot spines like arrows. A true nightmare chimera. The myth may have originated from early travelers encountering tigers. To Greeks and Persians who had never seen them, striped predators larger and more ferocious than lions seemed like monsters. Add in exaggeration from traders eager to sell stories, and the tiger became the Manticore. The idea of a human-faced beast may also come from how animals' faces can appear strangely human in certain conditions, especially with large cats staring directly at you. Combine that with a misunderstanding of porcupines or scorpions, and you have a lion-bodied monster firing spines from its tail. The Manticore may not have prowled Persia, but it shows how human imagination stitches together pieces of nature into something far more terrifying. The ogre, from European fairy tales to Japanese folklore, ogres are depicted as massive man-eating giants who dwell in caves and feast on humans. But where did this gruesome myth come from? Anthropologists suggest the legend may have been inspired by Neanderthals. Early humans encountered their remains and perhaps even clashed with them. To Homo sapiens, these stocky, powerful cousins must have seemed monstrous, capable of both cooperation and brutality. Another theory points to cannibalistic tribes in prehistory. Human bones with cut marks have been found in caves, evidence of ritual cannibalism. These horrors, passed down through oral tradition, could have grown into stories of hulking monsters that ate humans whole. The ogre isn't just a myth, it's a distorted memory of humanity's darkest encounters with both other species and with itself. From vampires rising from graves to serpents that guarded rivers and ogres that echoed our own ancestors, these creatures remind us of a chilling truth. Myths aren't lies. They're distorted memories, fragments of encounters, warnings stitched into story. And each one begs the question, how many monsters from legend are simply waiting for us to uncover their bones? So, which of these do you think has the most frightening origin?